Hey guys, it's Bryony. So today I'm going to be talking about discharge. I went onto my Instagram and my Facebook page and asked you guys what you wanted to see, and most of you wanted to see an updated stash video, but as I'm at the end of my period, I still need to wash the pads I use to cycle, so I couldn't really do a proper updated stash video just yet, so I will put that on my list. But I decided instead to do this other request I got, and this is a video I've been meaning to do for months, literally months, probably years actually. Just about discharge, what's healthy and what's not, and the things you need to look out for, and what your discharge actually does. So discharge, also known as cervical mucus because it's produced by your cervix, is completely natural and healthy. A lot of girls worry that when they start getting discharged, they're unclean, that something's wrong, and that's not the case. There are just a few things you need to be aware of to watch out for that might signify you have an infection or something else. So it's normal for your discharge to change as you go through your cycle. At the end of your period, you might notice that your discharge is quite brown. This is the case with me. That's completely normal. It's just some of the residue blood that's left over, and it's sort of like a cleaning process. That's what discharge does. It cleans out your vagina, sort of like its own little washing machine, really. And then you might notice that when you ovulate, which should be around 2 weeks after your period starts, that you'll get like a sticky consistency, almost like egg white consistency discharge. That signifies that you've ovulated, and it's one of the ways that women who track their cycle by taking their temperature every day, they'll also monitor their discharge, and when they get the sticky consistency, they know they're ovulating. So it's a good way to be able to check out for free if you are trying to conceive or get pregnant. When you get the sticky consistency discharge, it's a good sign that you're ovulating, so best time to baby dance. Healthy discharge doesn't have a strong smell or colour. It can make you feel a bit wet, and that's completely normal. However, you shouldn't feel itchiness or soreness. Those two things can be a sign that you might have an infection or something else going on. If you notice a change in your discharge, that might be a sign that you've got an infection or that something else might be up. Some things that can signify this are a change in colour to your discharge, a change of smell to discharge if it suddenly gets a bad smell, or a change in the volume of discharge you get. If you suddenly start getting a lot of discharge, that can all be a sign. All three of those things can be a sign that something might be going on. The most common causes of abnormal discharge are two things: thrush and bacterial vaginosis. Thrush can be treated with over-the-counter creams such as Canesten. And thrush typically will have like a yeasty smell, and your discharge will sort of have the consistency of cottage cheese or be really, really watery. Thrush causes a lot of itchiness, you might be quite pink down there. Bacterial vaginosis sort of produces a fishy-like smell and a white or grey sort of discharge. It shouldn't cause any itching or discomfort, but you will need to get antibiotics by your doctor to treat that one. There are other causes of abnormal discharge, but they're usually STIs, sexually transmitted diseases. And as I'm aiming this video sort of towards the younger teen generation, I'm assuming that the majority of you won't be sexually active yet. But if you are sexually active, then you definitely need to go and see your doctor, because it could be a sexually transmitted infection, which you will probably need to get some sort of treatment for. But discharge in itself is completely normal and natural. It's part of going through puberty, and it's just a part of being a woman in general, actually. So two things you can use to help with discharge management, I guess you could call it that. There are panty liners. This is a disposable panty liner. This is a natural brand, the Natural Care. And this is a cloth panty liner. Personally, I will use both. I use cloth pads and menstrual cups for my period, so I also tend to use cloth panty liners for daily stuff. But when I'm doing any sort of sport like dancing, I find that the cloth pads tend to shift around too much, or they're actually a bit too absorbent, and they'll absorb all the sweat and get quite heavy. Whereas the disposables work quite well for that, but I tend to use these more for just everyday stuff. I find them really flexible and comfortable. But this is also another option for you. You can use disposables or panty liners, and actually you don't have to use anything at all. Sometimes I'm fine just using my underwear, which has like an extra lining sewn in. You'll notice in most female underwear you'll see there's an extra little crotch area stitched in, and that's to help absorb the discharge. But sometimes if I've got very heavy discharge, I find that that's not enough for me to feel comfortable with, so I will use some form of protection, which is completely fine and normal, and you can find them in most supermarkets. Well, these ones you can find them in most supermarkets. Cloth pads you have to buy online. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Just so you know, there is a 20% off coupon code on my website at the moment, which is Precious Stars, which is linked down below, and that is applying until the end of this week on midnight on Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.